Howdy, everyone. Wayne, the 5 Minute Music Series. We're going to do something a little different today. Normally, we have an artist. We've got a guy, Tracy Pitcox, from the Heart of Texas Country Museum. And he's going to tell us a little bit about what's going on at the museum and some of the fine country music artifacts that they've got. Tracy, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Wayne. Thanks for having me on your program today, and thanks for what you're doing for the music industry, man.
Well, I do like country music, so there you go. And in fact, we were talking, we found out that he works at the first radio station that I ever worked at, KNEL in Brady, Texas. Those were some good years. I enjoyed that a lot.
That's right. I'm still connected to KNEL. I went to work there when I was 15 and just never could get another job, Wayne, so I'm still here.
Well, first off, tell us exactly where the museum's at and your hours and, the web page, and so people can get in touch with you as soon as we're done.
Yeah, we're located at 1701 South Bridge Street in Brady, Texas, which is the geographic center of the state of Texas, as you know. And we love to have people come and visit the museum. But the neat thing about our museum is that we have such a great group of volunteers. So if anybody happens to be coming through Brady, or you've got to come to Brady for any reason, we always have plenty of volunteers that can literally open up the museum anytime. It doesn't matter if there's, 1, 2, 3 people, whatever. We're always happy to show off our collection. And so I say, really, we can be open anytime, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
So how did you get started with the museum?
We actually started, the radio station is what connected us to the museum. Whenever I was doing an interview one time with an older country singer by the name of Rose Maddox, and she had a group called the Maddox Brothers and Rose, the most colorful hillbilly band in the land. And at this time, she was probably in her late 70s when I was doing an interview with her back in 1992. And in that interview, I'd read an article in Country Music Magazine that Marty Stewart, and that was when he was so hot at the time, that he had been out to her home in Oregon and purchased a bunch of her old stage costumes. And so I asked her about that during the interview. And she casually said, yes, he was. He was out here a few months ago and he bought everything I had except for one old dress that I found this morning in the back of my closet. And so after the interview was over, I asked her about that dress. And I really don't know why, but I was intrigued by that. And she told me, she said, if you've got $100, she said, I'll sell it to you. She said, I have a bill at the pharmacy for $100, and they won't let me have any more medication until I pay that bill off. And she said, if you'll send me a check for $100, I'll send you the dress. Well, a few days later, the dress shows up, and it's a beautiful handmade dress with all these rhinestones, Porter Wagoner type outfit,
right.
And then it even had her sweat stains around the collar, the rhinestone collar. And I thought to myself, that's such a piece of history, because
Sure.
She performed in the 1950s and 1960s in this outfit. It saw so much great music and history, and I just kind of became intrigued with those treasures and started kind of on a mission to preserve as much of that stuff as we actually could.
So who else do you have stage costumes for?
Well, virtually there's, I think the last count, there's about 150 country music entertainers that we house something from. Everybody from Johnny Cash and Loretta Lynn and of course Patsy Cline. We even have a piece of the airplane that Patsy Cline. Yeah, there was in the crash. We have a lot of stuff from Jim Reeves. We have Jim Reeves' 1956 tour bus.
Now, how did you get a bus?
Well, I happen to know the guy that actually bought the Jim Reeves estate, and he had to declare bankruptcy. And so we went to Nashville at the bankruptcy auction and purchased Jim's tour bus and paid $3,000 for it. And then it cost us $3,100 to haul it back to Texas from Nashville. So
still,
but it was a great piece, and it's right out here by our museum, and it attracts a lot of visitors, as you can imagine.
So of all the artists that you have there, or memorabilia that you have from the artist, what's your number one piece?
It's very intriguing, because we have, like you said, we have stuff from nearly everybody. From the Barber Mandrells, we have an incredible Mel Tillis collection. We have Johnny Cash, as I think I had mentioned as well, Little Jimmy Dickens, Kitty Wells, all these guys. I guess some of my favorite pieces, though, are the pieces that we have from Hank Thompson. Hank was a great influence to me growing up, Country Music Hall of Fame member. But the neat thing about Hank is that he really befriended our Heart of Texas Country Music Museum. And whenever he passed away, he asked that all of his memorials go to our museum. And then I think it's awesome. And then he also made sure that we had plenty of his memorabilia. His wife Ann, Ann's husband now, Ray Womack, have been very generous to us, and they've made certain that we have a lot of great Hank Thompson stuff. As a matter of fact, this is one of Hank Thompson's.
Oh, look at that!
Right here. Yeah, it's got the Hank Thompson on the neck and everything, but this is one of his guitars that he played literally all over the world with and everything. So, but we have a lot of his musical instruments, and we have a lot of his old nudie stage suits. They called the old stage suits nudie because a guy by the name of Nudie Cohn made them and had all the rhinestones on them and everything. But we've got a huge Hank Thompson display, so it's really neat to have that. But we've got Bob Wills's fiddle, and we have there's just so much stuff around. Dolly Parton have a dress from Dolly, and we've got Ferlin Husky's Cadillac. We have Tammy Wynette's limousine. There's a lot of neat things we've acquired throughout the years.
Well, that really sounds interesting. I can't wait to go out there. And I like I said, I've been through Brady, and I just didn't have the time, but I'm going to make the time to go out there and see that. Now, you've also got a record company, a recording studio. Tell me about those.
Everything's kind of Heart of Texas is what we call it. We've got the Heart of Texas Country Music Museum. We have Heart of Texas Records. And we started the record label with some of our great traditional acts here in Texas. We've had Johnny Bush was on our record label. Of course, he just recently passed. Daryl McCall, Justin Trevino, Amber Digby, Curtis Potter. We've Hank Thompson recorded for us. Ferlin Husky recorded for us. So there's a lot of great of the country music names that recorded for us. Pretty Miss Norma Jean from the Porter Wagoner Show. She recorded for us. As a matter of fact, Norma Jean lives here. Justin Trevino lives here. Daryl McCall lives here. Heather Miles, also a recording artist. She lives here in Brady with us. So we got a little group here. But the record label is kind of an offshoot of what we're trying to do and to keep and preserve traditional country music. I think we've recorded about somewhere between 80 and 90 albums here in Brady since we started. And I think there's 18 or 19 different artists that are actually on the label. That's why I couldn't name them all, but it's neat. It's neat to be able to record a new album on somebody like Tony Booth, who had a great career before he came with us, but then he's still singing good. And it's also good to have, Georgette Jones, George Jones and Tammy Wynette's daughter, and Taylor Lynn, Loretta's granddaughter, recorded with us. And so it's neat to kind of keep that history going.
I certainly agree. There's country music today, on what you hear on the radio is just, I don't know. All I can tell you is when George Strait can't get a song played on the radio, something's wrong. And
there's a problem. And that's kind of the neat thing. We had we've got our studio here in Brady. We have the museum here in Brady. We do a television show called the True Country TV Show on the RFD television network every Friday afternoon at 2:00. And we do that. We tape that here in Brady as well. And then we have the Heart of Texas Country Music Association. We got over 1,000 members of the association. And of course, our association is based here in Brady as well. So, we're trying to do our part in preserving and protecting this great music industry.
I'm beginning to think maybe I shouldn't have moved out. A lot going on in Brady, Texas today. And that is wonderful. If you've never been to Brady, Texas, it's a wonderful little town, and there's a lot going on and a lot of nice people that live there. Well, Tracy, thanks for taking the time today to talk with us on the 5-Minute Music Series, and I wish you all the best with the museum and everything you've got going on. And I will be out there, I bet you within the next 2 or 3 months.
Well, Wayne, I want to tell you this quickly before we go. Now, if this program doesn't work out for you, just come back because I would sure give you a good reference on KNEL.
All right, Tracy, thanks so much. We'll see you on down the road.
Thanks, Wayne.